heroes, men who had really served our countries and worked on the Cold War. They weren't interested in self-aggrandizement. They weren't interested in promoting SEAL 6. No special forces unit that I have worked with, including Delta and other units in hostage negotiation, in the Army particularly, has ever come forth and said how great I am, and let me show you how great I am. It is unfortunate that the Navy has a proclivity, including under Admiral Mullen, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, whose father happens to have been a publicist for my talent agency, William Morris, and has a proclivity for self-aggrandizement because he made a real faux pas by giving the Medal of Honor to Greg Mortensen, another sociopath who claimed he went into Pakistan and built schools all over. He has a proclivity to dramatize a unit that has had a questionable history of effectiveness, the SEALs. When I was involved under Reagan, the SEALs were lost on a raft, 6 of them, 4 to 6 of them, on an assault to Grenada. Now, you explain that to me, but every movie I have seen and your public has ever seen aggrandizes and self-aggrandizes the SEAL unit, including Demi Moore's film, G.I. Jane, and other films. But the units I worked with and had and consult to, you will never know about. They are dedicated, quiet men and women who have been intellectually exceedingly perceptive, very highly trained, and their job is to do their job, keep it quiet, and go home. And we're talking about great generals like General Petraeus and other generals who really have served our country, but you don't hear them going out and creating this fantasy of how they went in there and attacked a man who was armed but wasn't armed, who is dead but isn't dead, but now is floating in the water. So I warn the Navy, in particular the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, the best he can do, Mullen, is to resign now. And the same thing with Panetta. You're not qualified to run the CIA or the military, Secretary of Defense. And I warn the President of the United States, cease and desist this nonsensical story and stop calling the American people conspirator and marginalizing us by telling us what he wants to hear. Because the truth of the matter is the more he says things that are absurd and contradictory, the more he's going to expose himself to people like myself and others about his own questionable background. I'm not talking about his birther. He knows he has a very questionable history, and he's treading on very dangerous waters when you come into the world of psyops, in a world where guys like me and others who I work with are really professional. I don't go out in public. I don't need to have my picture taken. I don't need to have a uniform, and I don't have to be interviewed every 30 seconds to say how great I am. Like this president.
Okay, we'll be back to talk more about it after the break with Dr. Steve Pieczenik. Photos were staged. Obama and Hillary did not watch the bin Laden raid. Obama lied Sunday night on national television when he told Americans that he did. I want to get your take on that, Steve, and also, we don't have much time, just one more question. On Sunday, Obama said America was safer because of this staged bin Laden fable. They've ramped up the police state. They're talking about putting the terror level up a notch. How much danger are we in of them staging another false flag inside America within the next few weeks?
Well, I don't want to say they're going to create a false flag, but what he has done is when you lie, you continuously lie. So he will lie to create, in order to maintain this lie, he will increase what looks like the presence of counter-terrorist people, TSA and cops and all. But the reality, the only thing that's effective in terrorism and counterterrorism over 30 years is human intelligence, and he doesn't have that. And the CIA doesn't have that because 80% of them on contract. The ones who have it are on the military, usually the Army, some elements of the Air Force. So I'm not worried. If they pulled another false flag, we're going to have a revolution in America. And he knows that. He will understand that. The intelligence community will understand that will precipitate violence in this country. And I warn the intelligence community that's listening now and the military, do not even think of creating another false flag, because that will be the beginning of a second American Revolution. That will be the beginning where really the American public that is allowed to have guns will really understand that this country is out of control. So now I am warning the President of the United States, who is not the brightest individual in the world and who is also not very competent in his job, that if you want to get reelected, you best get reelected by understanding what the office is. It's to serve the public. It's not to serve your own grandeur and your own narcissism. It's to serve the American public. And by increasing the so-called security, you're creating more and more trouble. You've created more trouble by men and women, our honorable men and women who've gone and fought and died for this nonsense so that you can get reelected. Our veterans coming back without any benefits because you are not able to supply them, and you cannot get reelected on the bodies of the American people and on their welfare. So I warn you repeatedly, if you think I am just full of air, you better look at my history again on regime change. It will be very easy to initiate a regime change with you, Mr. President, and everyone around the intelligence community. If you want to come forth, I'll be happy to discuss it with you. But I believe the president, number one, is too cowardly, number two, not too bright, and his lying will be the undoing of his presidency.
And Dr. Pieczenik, about these staged photos, I mean, you said they were staged. Now it's come out that they were. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you know, being right is not good in my life because I'm a physician. If I tell you you have cancer, it's not. I'm not proud to say that you have cancer. Believe me, I have no great satisfaction in saying 9 years later that the American public has been duped again. But I'm warning those who are creating this story, including the intelligence community, the 850,000 people involved in counterterrorism, beware of what you do. You will be held accountable. The American public will hold you accountable. There are myself and others who understand exactly who you are, what you are doing. Do not mess with the American public, and that's my warning. There will be more deceptions, more lies, but if you increase your TSA, you increase your security, you will weaken the fibers of our democracy, and that will begin the second American Revolution. And if they don't understand that, they better look at what happened to the neocons, to Scooter Libby, and to many others. So you better understand, once again, I have not given you a false threat. I am threatening you again on behalf of the Americans. As an American, do not play with American security, freedom, and the right to protest. That will be the demise of your institution. And Obama, you cannot keep lying. Your lying will undo this presidency and will undo the fabric of our society. So be careful. Your sociopathy got you to the presidency, but will not keep you in the presidency. Those are my final words. God bless America.
We're out of time. We've got to leave it there. We're out of time. Really appreciate you spending time with us, and we'll be sure to have you back on the show. There goes Dr. Steve Pieczenik with more.